All right, welcome back everybody. This is the next day after we returned from our tour of the West. It's November 25th. Here's my wonderful piece of driftwood from the beach in Elk, California. I think it was called Greenwood Creek Beach. And there's a lot of color still remaining. We had one day of frost on, I believe it was November 15th. So a lot of things are finished, but this is Acer japonicum Ed wood. And Ed holds on to a lot of color late in the season. A lot of leaves fell off of the pear trees. Still some color on Catinus obovatus, American smoke tree. But mostly defoliated. This area here is still gorgeous with hydrangea, Oregon Pride, both flowers and fall color. And the Butylon Dennis is still blooming. The coldest temperature on the 15th was 29.6. That doesn't seem to have bothered Dennis. And the cannas still hanging in there. No more flowers, but the foliage didn't collapse yet. There's Dune chowing down on rainwater. 29.6, however, did end impatiens, and it ended coleus. This can is still green. Ginkgo leaves all tend to fall in a pile in one spot in a short period of time. Camellia Autumn Rocket is doing great. The freeze didn't seem to affect it in the least. First couple years, the flowers were too late and they got froze. It was not very impressive, but now I'm super impressed with this plant. Over 2 feet of growth this year. Planted this Edgeworthia very late in the summer, and it got flower buds. With any luck, these will be blooming in February. If we don't get another terrible winter. The non-hardy Chinese red banana took the freeze very well. Canna musifolia is kind of fallen down. I'll probably have to cut that very soon. Here's Oxydendrum arboreum. This colored up while we were gone, so I didn't get to see the whole thing, but there's still a little nice color there. Fothergilla Jane Platt. Most of the interior leaves turned yellow and dropped, and then the tips are still green. The freeze that we got was just perfect temperature to allow the hydrangeas to color up, but without turning like brown, messy paper towels. This is hydrangea spike. Lots of gorgeous purple flowers remaining along with the yellow foliage. Mahonia soft caress is blooming. Then this is Hydrangea Zorro, lace cap. Beautiful flowers and stems that were black all summer, but now they start to lighten up to brown this time of year. And gorgeous fall color. There's Dune. Another pile of ginkgo leaves. Paredia subequalis. Very happy with this tree. Extremely fast growth rate this summer. And what a beautiful burgundy. Slowly developing leaf color. Hydrangea quercifolia, little honey. This was the very first plant to color in my garden many months ago, and it still has color. It's dropped about, I don't know, a third of its leaves. Let's see what we got going on out front. Here's my little bluestem grass. I can't remember the name of this cultivar, but it's got some pretty great color. This is my Sweetgum, no, not Leucothoe. Anyway, the cultivar is Slender Silhouette, and very late to color, as Sweetgums often are. Right now we just got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, a lot of green. So that'll probably get better, even after November 25th. My favorite annual ever, straw flower, Granvia Harvest Orange. I had no idea what kind of frost this plant would take, but didn't have a problem with 29.6. The flowers really don't open in cold weather, but I think they're just as lovely. I've never done any deadheading, so you'll see there's a lot of brown seed clusters on there. Here's Fothergilla, Legend of the Small. Really good color this year, not very good last year. Acer palmatum Mikawa Yatsubusa. Pretty good color. I think it was better last year, but we weren't here for the peak, so it might have been better than this. Lots of annuals still blooming. So this is willow oak, Quercus fellis. And a lot of literature says the fall color just isn't that good, but this is pretty good. The tree is very sparsely foliated because it was planted as a large B&B tree and it really hasn't recovered and started growing yet. I'm expecting great things next season. Here's Hydrangea quercifolia Gatsby Moon. Bloomed quite well as a tiny little plant, but the foliage is not really developing color very much yet, but it's definitely still might. These little blighters. They destroy my can of flowers. I believe it's a cucumber beetle. Here's the desert garden. Probably the nicest color in here is Hydrangea quercifolia munchkin, which I transplanted in early fall, which I thought would really kind of ruin the fall color, but pretty good. I stuck this in the ground, Senecio angel wings, just before we went on our trip, because it wasn't looking very happy in the pot. Looks like it's hanging in there. Doesn't look any better or any worse. Now to the vegetable garden and the orchard. Fig defoliated. This is Olympia, and Olympia is, she is infected with a virus and has never really done very well. A lot of fruit, but we've got no ripe fruit off of this one this year. Pomegranate, no fruit on that either. You can see there was a lot of tomatoes that dropped and tomatillos that dropped while we were gone. That stuff's kind of ugly. Let's look at the pretty stuff. Japanese white pine, bay leaf, feijoa, cryptomeria, ooh, I think the fruit on this magnolia keiskei has opened up, yes. Such cool fruiting cones on these. So we just had a custom steel arbor and fence built for this area to keep the dogs out of the vegetable garden. And when I go, or when that gets delivered and installed, I'll share that on the channel. Corn is all autumny looking. Salvia is still blooming. Abutilon tigeri still blooming. The English daisies are starting to bloom again after taking a break for the hotter months or weeks. This is Itea, Virginia sweet spire, and it pretty much looked like this before we went on our trip. The fall color hasn't advanced very much on that one. The Tupelo, this particular species, it's not a cultivar, it's just the species, hasn't been very impressive here. Seems to get a few leaves that color on the interior and then they fall off, and then a few more and then they fall off. So kind of a sparse effect with that one. And that brings us back to Ed Wood. So Ed Wood grows in spring, like most trees do, and then takes a break, and then grows again dramatically in late summer and through fall. And those branches are very sprawly and weepy and difficult to deal with. So I did a lot of tying and staking up, as you can see, to get the branches more upright until they lignify and stiffen, and then hopefully they'll stay upright. Look at these. Not a lot of trees color like that. Fothergilla sometimes does. All right, the Anna's hummingbirds and I signing off.